And thanks for starting your week with us. And later, Black politics expert Dr. James Taylor will take over our classroom. Dr. Taylor is a political scientist by trade and a professor at the University of San Francisco. He'll discuss Black-led democracy in America. Dr. Taylor will preview the next generation of politicians, including Hakeem Jeffries and the new potential squad members. Dr. Taylor will also talk about Christian Simoner's party switch, the Georgia elections, and more. Before we hear from Dr. Taylor, financial expert JB Bryan is here. JB, good morning.
Good morning. It's great to hear your voice as I do each day. It's
Well,
great.
thank you, JB.
Happy Monday. Happy Monday.
Happy
Yes,
Monday.
indeed.
Yeah, at the end of the year, JB. So I want to help us out because,
Yes.
you always tell that we should continuously review our finances. And I guess this is a good time if people haven't been doing it on a regular basis to review their finances at the end of the year.
Yes.
Maybe you can provide us with some financial tips we should be taking before we close out the year.
Definitely. I look forward to it. And if you want to go ahead and get started, I can.
Yeah,
You ready?
let's make it
Oh,
happen. Yes,
fantastic.
sir.
I
Yes, ma'am.
think the first thing that I think we need to do is to look at our tax situation, because we always think about taxes in January, but that's too late. There are things that you need to take care of before the end of the year, or mistakes, unfortunately, that can be made before the end of the year. So there are decisions that if I can stop you from doing that in December, it can make such a difference in your tax liability, like what you'll owe on your taxes. So it's the first thing that you can do to really help yourself and your family is to think about where you are from a tax situation. Look at your last paycheck. Look at your spouse's last paycheck, and look at any changes that happened. Did you get married or did you get divorced? Um, or did you have a new child? But look at the changes in your financial situation. Did you take distributions? And I mentioned to you, Carl, about distributions that people have been taking out of their retirement plans have reached record highs. So that is a
And
huge.
explain that for us. Break that
Mhm,
down for us,
mhm.
JB. You're talking
Yeah.
about this is for your 401ks. That's what you're talking about, or
Yeah,
something else?
but mostly the record keeping is done for the 401k. So the company Vanguard actually released their numbers, and they said that because a lot of employers use Vanguard for their 401k. So there, and it might be 401k, could be the tax code, but it could be 457, it could be a 403b. All of those are the tax code for deferred compensation plans. So when you say 401k, Carl is saying any plan where you have put money away pre-tax. So it could be, like in Baltimore, where you have the municipality had the plan, and you have the you know leader who was actually took the money out and is going through some legal complications because she took a hardship withdrawal during COVID. So these hardship withdrawals are important that we get an understanding of what we're doing. And even though they might be so easy, which it probably was for her and her husband to take the money out, she never thought that it actually could end up being devastating for her, for her professionally or financially, for her and her family. So we do need to be very careful. And that's where having a not just tax preparer, because the tax preparer might not find out about this till next year. You took the money out this year. Even though in that situation here in Baltimore, the she did disclose that she did tell her taxpayer preparer that she was going to take the money out. That's where a financial advisor comes in, because I would have gone deeper into, is this a legitimate hardship withdrawal? So the So there's a difference
Well, let
between
me jump in here and
uh-huh.
ask you this though. Then,
Mhm.
how she's being scrutinized, but do you
Mhm.
think she was scrutinized because she was a public official? I mean, if John Q. Public, who nobody knows about, does the same thing, do you think they'd receive the same sort of scrutiny?
If they were audited, they would. It could become a tax problem, and John Q. Public could get audited. So, if they could not prove, and actually there were, um, thousands, I could say at least hundreds, who were in the corporate community at Philip Morris, and, a temp worker noticed repeated hardship withdrawals with people using, and these are average people, labor workers, doing hardship withdrawals, and they were saying it was to save their homes, but they had a connection with, like, say, the same notary. But they noticed, oh, this
Mm.
person is notarizing everybody's paperwork. And they ended up all everybody getting a felony. So it might end up being in this, and they lost their jobs. So it might end up in this situation, she might not get treated as poorly as the average person. So, um, yeah, yes, it's public, but she's actually gonna get more public protection because they didn't get any public protection because, everybody's like, "Oh, you just did wrong. Y'all did wrong. Y'all weren't supposed to take that out. Y'all know y'all ain't had no hardship." That wasn't really no hardship, and indeed, it was their own money. So,
Right. Is that difficult to
yes.
prove though, JB?
Oh,
Whether a hardship or not, do they
very
they ask you,
easy.
okay, you need the money? You say, well, I lost my job, or my
Mhm,
finances went down, or my
mhm,
interest rates went up. Yeah. Is and who
mhm.
does that? Is that the tax person who does that? Who calls you
The
on the carpet?
No, the IRS, like, it is easy to prove if there's a hardship from an IRS perspective, because they're gonna look at it as your taxable income from one year to the other. And you're gonna look at it as, well, just because I made more income doesn't mean I didn't waste more money that year that I made more money. But that's not how they look at it. It's from a hardship withdrawal. It's like, but you had access to all this money. And so your hardship, can't be that I wasted a lot of money and now I need that money. So that it doesn't have to be forgiven that easily. You do have a responsibility to have a legitimate hardship. And but it is kind of, we do get away with it. People do get away with it all the time as a legitimate hardship because they have made a lot of money and they did spend it inappropriately. And then now they do, want to take it out. The only challenge is that you have taken it in her situation, and in their situation, they were taking advantage of federal loans. So it becomes, a different situation when you start borrowing and taking advantage of borrowing, due to taking the withdrawal, and then it layers on to what do you use it for, and then you buy, say you take a loan out, and then you take out a fraud, and then the loan becomes fraudulent because you don't use the loan for what you set it for. So it can become multiple fraudulent activities. And
Yeah. I
yeah,
want to sidebar
it's
here because since
yes.
you're talking about taking out loans, so several people have taken out those PPP loans, if you will, and with the fact that in the back of their minds they're never going to have to repay them. Should those people who are listening to us right now who took out those loans, should they be concerned?
Yes, they should, because they if that is going to be investigated. And I know that in Virginia, the Attorney General's office has been sending out letters constantly to people asking them to send proof of that entity and how the money was spent. Because in order to not pay the money back, the money again had to be spent on these particular things. And specifically on a PPP, it had to be spent on the majority of the percentage of the money on payroll. That was payroll protection.
Mm.
So,
Oh,
and
wow.
and amazingly, like a lot of our churches did get that withdrawal. And I was wondering, actually, like driving in, like meditating to myself, I was like, is that the reason that there seems to be some greed going on in our churches now? Because of the PPPs and the unemployment that was paid out to the ministers, with specifically, I was shocked by Jamal Bryant, starting this farm with the marijuana, and he said that I'm gonna start looking for people coming into the church that smell like weed to work for me. And
Mm.
I said, where does that mentality come from? And I think it comes from the PPP and the unemployment going to people that it wasn't supposed to go to. Like, it wasn't supposed to go to churches. Churches are supposed to be separate from state. And what, Carl, to me, what is even more surprising is that if you look at it from a business perspective, he is way behind the ball of doing marijuana because he cannot have an advantage. He's not going to have an advantage. There's nothing that he can do unless he is doing something illegal to have an advantage in growing weed. He doesn't know what he's doing. There's no way he'll have the money to hire the best at growing weed. The guys coming in the door don't grow weed. So he's not going to have an advantage in that market. But what we do have an advantage in is vegetables. So if I had all of that
Well, let
land.
me jump in and ask you this, though, JB, because all of those loans, and it's 12 minutes past the hour, by the way,
Mhm,
folks.
mhm,
Can they say that, well, you gave me the money. I applied. You
yeah,
could have rejected me. It's not my fault that you
yeah,
gave me the money. You should have looked a little deeper into my application.
yeah.
Is that a good enough excuse to get them off?
No, because that was a crisis situation, and they had to issue the loans on an honor system. And they asked specifically, what was your payroll last year? And now all you had to do was go over to a piece of paperwork and look at your payroll. I could have done it. I didn't. What was your payroll last year? They made a conscious
But in the end,
decision.
isn't it up to the person who writes his check to say whether or not you qualify for the loan? Shouldn't they have? That's my question. Can they
Yeah,
say that you should have caught it, man? You gave me the money, you know?
well, you're going to go to jail. I saw a brother in Virginia. He kept applying and applying. He's going to jail. He was a veteran too. He's going to jail. He applied, like, I don't know, it was about 10 times. He did 10 different PPP loans
Wow.
over and over because it's addiction. It's an addiction. But I'm gonna tell you, Carl, the price of vegetables has gone up more than marijuana. So from a business perspective, he's off course. He would do better with collard greens around the church than marijuana or broccoli or
But is that a
asparagus.
moral decision, or is it
I mean,
a
you wouldn't even have
financial
to worry about
decision?
that. You wouldn't even have to worry about that. You wouldn't even have to worry about. See, he's saying that it's medical marijuana. So then he's got to try to get it approved for the medical compliance, because for medical marijuana, then you got to go to a whole nother level of being good. No, but when you could be making collard greens and people will come forever because they say, black folk know about collard greens, Jamal, but I guess that would be too black for him. So I'm gonna do something that the white people already have the niche on. No, but we have the niche on collard greens, and you lost the obvious, because I'm telling you, vegetables, and if he grew organic vegetables out there on all that land, you would not only be feeding the people around you, you wouldn't have to be worried about brothers being intoxicated and coming in there smelling like weed and working for you like a slave, and inebriating our community because they're not taking it for medical purposes, not coming in to the church smelling like it. That is, we would just be feeding and making a lot more profit. And you would not have to worry about guns all around your property.
All right, hold that thought right there, JB. We got to take our first look at the traffic and weather in our city. And of course, you talk about Reverend Jamal Bryant down in Atlanta with the starting the weed business, I guess, in the church. What are your thoughts, folks? We start off talking about PPP loans. Actually, we're looking at, she's reviewing your end of year finances with JB Bryan. You got some questions? Reach out to us at 800-450-7876. We'll take your phone calls in 4 minutes in Baltimore on 1010 WOLB. And the DMV, we're on FM 95.9 and AM 1450. WOL, where information is power.
Ooh, I'm sorry, y'all. It's your chat. Good morning, morning. That's right. Morning. Good morning, chat. Good morning, Chris. I'll put it so your comments can come up here so I can see them.
Good morning. Traffic sponsored by Attorney Big Al, the law office of Richard Clark.
God is good.
Light to moderate volume so far. No early issues as you come in on Route 50, John Hanson Highway out of Louis across the Beltway and continue through Chevrolet to Anacostia.
Good morning. Good morning, Miss Beach.
Slow traffic forming up between Powder Mill Road and NASA Goddard. Maybe an issue there. Inside the Beltway, a few brake lights in Riverdale, and then you go into Northeast. DC 295, some slow traffic between Burroughs Avenue and Capitol Street, while New York Avenue looks good to the traffic from Bladensburg Road to the 3rd Street tunnel. No early issues on 695 in either direction.
But y'all know it's a good point about you can turn up the Carl because they don't like it when you turn it down.
28, it's 43 now at Reagan.
Okay, I'll keep it up.
You know they get back.
Richard Klein reminds you to call 1-800-HURT-123 if you ever get
Carl's
into an
still
accident.
there.
Attorney Big Al will fight the insurance company.
They want to hear the commercials.
Exactly.
Workman,
there was no Carl there.
WOL. More information is power.
Make holiday shopping a breeze with the One VIP Visa debit card. Get cash back rewards on all purchases
Facebook
and
gonna
shop
get mad
our
at us.
Black-owned business
Will you run
partners
another
to get
ads
double
inside
rewards and
yours?
unique gift ideas. Hassle-free and easy, just like it should be. Go to onevip.com and get your card today. The One VIP Visa prepaid card is issued by Stride Bank and a member FDIC.
And stay
Pursuant to a
hydrated.
license from Visa USA Inc.
Woo!
Use of the One VIP card is subject to terms and conditions.
I'm gonna dress like this all the time.
Overseas will be missing
Wait
their
till the
loved
summertime.
ones even more so
I'm
this
putting my
time of year.
swimsuit on.
Support our troops by sending a
At
care
least I don't have
package
to
this
tell you.
season. This message courtesy
Ooh.
of Northam That Realtor with Long and
Ooh,
Foster,
Bob,
Greater
hi.
Silver Spring. With over
I feel good
33 years
today.
of experience in real estate. Whether you're buying or selling, call 240-274-6630. 240-274-6630. That's Northam That Realtor with Long and Foster, Greater Silver Spring.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell & Cordell. When the prospect of divorce becomes a reality, you need a partner that you can count on. If you're a man in this situation, consider contacting Cordell & Cordell. We've helped men navigate complex legal matters for 30 years.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Fairfax area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Office in Falls Church. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com.
Friends, is your job recession-proof? Now might be the perfect time to switch careers and become an IT professional with My Computer Career. IT is listed as one of the top recession-proof professions. Hey, and you can have your dream job in just months, not years. No experience needed. Take classes online or on campus, and financial aid is available for those who qualify, including the GI Bill.
What y'all think about growing collard greens?
.edu and take the free career evaluation. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
There's a lot of stuff.
Better hurry if you want in on $1 million in HBCU scholarships from McDonald's.
You've got 107 HBCUs to choose from.
And you can get up to $15,000.
But time is running out, and there's only one way
and then
to get
people
it.
gotta breathe it. It'll be all over the church.
When your school is black, your future is golden.
McDonald's has partnered with the Thurgood Marshall College Fund to award $1
Oh,
million
that's
in
sad.
scholarships to promising
For my
HBCU
neighbors.
students. This year, you could be next.
That's so
But hurry,
sad.
deadline is March 27th. Apply now at tmcf.org.
This message is sponsored content.
Farming
Real
food.
talk drives
Farming
real
food.
change. This era calls for us to face the issues. In D.C., we tackled higher education and increased access for people of color, be it HBCU, PWI,
That's right.
or trade. That rich conversation is available on
That's right.
demand, along with ways you can give support or find help. Real talk drives real change. Fully charged by Chevrolet. This was the first of 4 events. Mike Muse welcomed Dr. Ben Chapin,
Done my
Martha
homework
Diaz,
in on
and Young
time
Guru.
last
To see
night.
more, visit
First time this
change.news1.com.
semester.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home.
2 minutes
That's
early.
why I told my husband we could not put off getting life
All right.
insurance any
I'll
longer.
turn this stuff
An
in.
agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-994-6633. That's 1-800-994-6633. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-994-6633. That's 1-800-994-6633.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Now back to the Carl Nelson Show.
And good morning again, family. 22 minutes after the top of the hour. Thank you for waking up with us this morning. Our guest is financial expert Bryan. JB is saying that we should review our finances, the end-of-year finances, so we go into the new year looking good. Before we left, we were talking about loans, PPP loans, and loans that some people think they don't have to pay back. For one, understand if you took out a PPP loan, you're going to have to pay it back. Am I correct in saying that, JB?
A lot of people do, but there's also a lot of people going to jail over PPP loans. So, you definitely don't want to ignore the PPP loans. You don't want to ignore the government at all. If you don't definitely get help. It's nothing to play with. It's not like just when you owe the government or the government is asking you a question. It's on a whole different level than when you get a credit card statement. Don't waste your time opening a credit card statement if you have a letter or a call about a PPP loan. The credit card people will never put you in jail. The PPP people and anything federal can do just about anything to you other than, I don't know. They can do just about anything to you. So just respond. We have to have a letter of financial, a stacking order of financial priority. And sometimes we're way out of order. like it's kind of like when people will pay for their car payment, but not for their home or not for their rent. There's got to be a stacking order, and the feds and then your housing, in that order, because the feds will take you out of your house or your apartment, wherever you live. They'll find you. I think they can look through our walls. I think they can. I carry myself like they know everything I do, and they hear all my calls, and they see all my transactions. That's the way I carry myself because I'm federally licensed. And I've been that way all my life.
But you're out in the public. You're a public official, so to speak. But some of the people that I know that have taken these loans, they figure out that they're small time. And
but
they
once
want
you
that
sign that form,
$1,500.
But you signed it.
There's so many of them out there that there's no way that the IRS has the financial muscle to go after everybody. So they're hedging their bets that it won't happen.
Yeah, but you're locked in, just like when you do the school loan, they get quiet on you. See, that person is the one that they get quiet on. But when you go to collect your Social Security, like all folk do, if you live that long, they just betting on maybe you'll live. They going to get their money. They are collecting all their debts off your Social Security. School loans, then it's going to be PPP, then it's going to be whatever the loans you decided to take out from the government. They're going to get it because you're going to want something from them at some point. Tax return, another stimulus check, they're going to get it.
Yeah.
You're going to get it. Look, you can't even win. You're going to try to win the lotto. Just go try to win the lotto. You're going. You can't get past
I
them.
People are listening to what you're saying because
Yes.
I know quite a few folks who've done that, and they're hedging their bets that the government won't come after them because they said there's millions of folks who did the same thing, and they look.
That's what somebody told me. That's what they do. I said, who are they? Who are they? Like, I just want to know who they are, because if you're saying white people, well, white people go to jail too. So, and they get arrested too. They're just less likely to go to prison because they have more money. That's it. They just have more money. So they come up with the money to keep the lawyer working. The lawyer keeps their kid out of jail, keeps themselves out of jail. They have more money. Their pockets are deeper traditionally.
Right.
But we can't,
Hold that thought right there, JB. We got some folks who want to talk to you. 800-450-7876. Brother Man 2 is reaching out to us. He's in New York City. He's on line 2. Brother Man 2, you're on with JB Bryan.
Yes, greeting, Brother Crazy, and greetings to you, my sister, financial wizard.
Oh, thank you, my brother. Thank you.
I have a couple of quick questions, but before I get to that, it came out in 2020, and people can look it up, that Jamal Bryant calls out Christians who burn sage, says it's witchcraft and satanic aromatherapy. Now, as far as I know, sage is legal in all states. As far as I know, marijuana is not federally legal in every state.
That's right.
In Georgia, is marijuana legal?
No.
On a federal level?
No.
Okay. So I just want to put that out there. Once again, Jamal Bryant calls Christians who use sage witchcraft and satanic aromatherapy. Right. Now, my question for you. You have such wisdom and such proficiency in your field. Do organizations request or seek out your services to be on their boards, or everybody's trying to do the, let's get it free type of thing? If you don't mind sharing the experience, do organizations reach out to you, whether churches, youth groups, former gang members who are turning their lives around?
Amen.
Do organizations reach out to you? And if they did, what is required to have your excellent services?
That's right. I do. I try. I was saying that last Wednesday night because I do my free workshops every Wednesday, that I have approached like the projects and to go in and do entrepreneurship workshops in housing projects on entrepreneurship to help people, and the gatekeepers will not let me get to them, saying that you're above them. They won't understand what you're talking about.
Repeat that, my sister? I don't mean to interrupt you. You are articulate and intelligent. Can you repeat that statement again? When you offer your services
for free, no trying to get a subsidy, no grants, nothing, for free, to go in and help.
Try to get a PP loan?
Never tried to get a PP loan. I don't want, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying. This is what I do. And I can't get to my own. It's like, it is extremely sad that we have so many people stopping the truth from getting to our people. Oh, I posted something on my social media the other day that it is the job of the conscious to wake up the unconscious. But you get attacked all the time for just saying that what they know is right, but they still will just shut it down because it's the truth. Like what I said about vegetables being up 100% in price. And then you're going to try to create a farm all around your church of a product that hasn't even proven itself to be that valuable at all to our community. No, like,
I mean, jump in here a question for a second here, JB, because brother mine too brought up something, because we're talking about gang people. Folks who are former gang members, or they may still be in the illicit trade, if you will, whatever they're doing. If they come to you for some advice, they want to go legit, would you help them out?
In a sec, I hope I'm helping them every day. I hope that they're already with me. I don't care what anybody does or used to do. That I just help people. I help people. That is not, you know what I mean? I'm not from that. I'm not from that. I don't ask people like, what is the minimum that you have? And these things, like, it's the system. I do legitimate investment accounts, and you have to give your social and everything, and everybody that does business with me is a legitimate person, and nobody asks on an investment application what you used to do. Nobody asks how many degrees you have. Nobody asks what block you live on, and nobody asks on an investment account how many people you killed, or who you killed, or or who killed you, or or whatever. Like that but we have so many gatekeepers trying to make us think we can't get there. But most of the people that talk to us about money don't even have a license. I was talking to
and let me
someone about that the other day.
For a second, and the reason why I asked you that, JB, because there's probably some brothers and sisters out there who may have gotten their money, and you look the other way how they got their money, but they want to come legit, because that's what happened. That's what built up. And Brother Ray was telling us, the city of Miami, when we're about the cocaine cowboys, and those people, they bought banks and gas stations and media companies and all that with the money, and then they turned legit. They didn't look back. So if the young brothers and sisters who are on the street level are doing that, and they've got money and they want to become legit, if you would, if they're welcome for some advice.
But they know more. They know more than someone that was working in a cubicle and leaves the cubicle and wants to start a business. They know more about my grind as an entrepreneur than the basic worker. That's why I was going to the hood to do it, because that's where the grind is. That's why I listen to that music all the time, because I know they're the only ones that can feel what I feel all the time. I'm constantly rejected, and they know my life. Corporate America doesn't know my life. Corporate Black doesn't know my life. They don't know about being hated just because you're trying to help your own. They don't know that. But a young Black person trying to get themselves together, do stuff for their mama, do stuff for their sister, do stuff for their brother, trying to make things better, like, they relate to my whole life that I've given to our people. So anybody that relates to that grind gets me. And the majority of us don't do it. Don't get it.
And stay with us, brother man, too, because I know you have a follow-up question. Folks, you want to join this conversation with JB Bryan, financial advisor, helping you to review your end-of-year finances. Reach out to us at 800-450-7876. We're going to take our first look at the news, traffic, and weather at 26 minutes away from the top of the hour. We're back in 4 minutes in Baltimore on 1010 WOLB. In the DMV, we're on FM 95.9 and AM 1450. WOL, where information is power.
And I want people to feel comfortable coming out. You know, I want people to feel comfortable coming out to me.
Good morning, folks. I'm Earl Kirk. Here's the latest from
To know
News1.com. Treasury
they're not
Secretary
going to
Janet
get that.
Yellen is expecting inflation
Oh,
to
well,
dip
where do
significantly
you,
by the end of 2023.
you know,
During an interview with CBS 60 Minutes that aired Sunday, Yellen said there's a
what,
risk of recession next year, but she
what
doesn't
did
believe
you,
it's something that's
what
necessary to bring
happened? Like,
inflation
you
down.
know,
She
going through
noted
all of
recent
that. Like,
trends like drops
they
in
want
shipping
to,
costs,
I
delivery
want them
lags,
to
and gas
know
prices. Her comments come as inflation remains near
who
a
I
40-year
am.
high. The latest consumer price index is due out on Tuesday. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Green Line
Yeah.
trains are back on schedule to start the work
Yeah.
week. They were delayed between
I
Southern
relate
Avenue and
more
Navy
to
Yard
them.
Sunday when a man was hit and killed at the Anacostia station. Surveillance video shows he
I
intentionally
relate
hopped on the
more
track. An 8-foot
to
fence is
her
going up around the Washington Convention
in the
Center. It's
struggle
the latest security move ahead of the U.S.-Africa
than to
Leaders
the
Summit
person that
taking
had it
place this
easy.
week. Road closures started Sunday, but most are happening today, affecting 7th, 8th, and 9th Streets, along with K, L, M, and N Streets. The event will also
Yeah.
reroute several buses and close the Mount Vernon Metro Station at 5 p.m. The nation's first Gen Z congressman-elect says he was denied an apartment in D.C. because of his really bad credit. 25-year-old Maxwell Frost from Florida says his application was denied and he lost the apartment and the application fee. The Democrat said his credit was bad because he ran up a lot of debt running for Congress. He added the running for office isn't meant for people who don't already have money. The Commanders were on a bye Sunday, but they managed to climb into the final playoff spot without even taking the field. The Giants and Seahawks were ahead of them, but they both lost. The Commanders and Giants both have the same 7-5-1 record, but they get to face off for control of that playoff spot next Sunday night at FedEx Field. Sunday night football, Chargers down the Dolphins, 23-17. College hoops, number 7 Tennessee over number 13 Maryland, 56-53. I'm Earl Kirk. When you're looking for news for Black America, go to News1.com.
Good morning. Traffic sponsored by Positive Coaching Alliance. Early jam up on the southbound Baltimore-Washington Parkway as you come down through 197 in Laurel. Heading down towards NASA Goddard, broken down car was in the left lane. Looks like everything's been moved over to the shoulder now, but still a little something to see. So it's going to be slower than you'd like first thing this morning. Past that point, though, you're fine across the Beltway and continuing into Northeast. 50 John Hanson Highway, only a little sluggish as you approach the Kenilworth Avenue interchange. DC 295 slowing before Benning Road down to East Capitol Street. Brief signal light delays along New York Avenue. A reminder that with the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit, there will be street closures around the Washington Convention Center, so watch for detours. Mostly sunny today with a high of 44, partly cloudy tonight, low 28,
What's the day
43
look
now
like?
at Reagan National.
We're gonna
Questions
have a
about
great
youth or
day.
high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Info at positivecoach.org. I'm Robert Workman for News Talk 1450 AM WOL, where information is power.
Please remember to thank all our healthcare professionals, law enforcement, first responders, and military for their protective services. This message courtesy of Priority One Shredding in Bowie, where they've been serving the DMV for over 15 years. For all of your shredding needs, call for a free estimate at 301-767-7637, 301-767-7637, and mention this ad for a 5% discount. Visit online at PriorityOneShredding.com. That's Priority One Shredding.
This is your daily Black Health 365 moment. December is dedicated to Crohn's and colitis awareness and the challenges faced by people who suffer from these illnesses. Crohn's disease is a chronic inflammatory condition of the gastrointestinal tract, while ulcerative colitis is a chronic inflammatory condition limited to the colon or large intestine. Learning as much as possible about these illnesses can help to improve overall health. This has been your Black Health 365 update, because a healthy lifestyle is a daily choice.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. And I bet it can be hard work. You know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home.
He could
Go
do
to
sweet potatoes.
Geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save.
A
It's
farm of
Geico
sweet
Easy.
potatoes. Now,
Visit
you know we know
Geico.com
sweet
today.
potatoes.
That's Geico.com.
He slept on sweet potatoes. People come from everywhere to buy some sweet potatoes.
Now back to the Carl Nelson Show.
He's in Richmond. I think we go everywhere. We're going to go all over the world.
Hey, good morning once again, family. 20 minutes away from the top of the hour with our guest financial expert, JB Bryan. JB says we need to review our end-of-year finances. We were speaking with Brother Man 2 in New York. Before we go back to him, though, let me just congratulate former Gonzaga High School football player, or student, if you will, Caleb. He's won the Heisman Trophy for this year.
Wow.
Symbolic of college football's best player. And Caleb, as I mentioned, went to Gonzaga in the DMV, the first a player from DMV to win the Heisman, by the way. First, he went to Oklahoma, then he went to USC. That's where he won the trophy for following his coach. So congratulations to Caleb Williams and his family out in the DMV for what he did, won the Heisman Trophy. That's, as I mentioned, symbolic of the best college football player there is this year. and he's still an underclassman, so he can do it again next year, if you will. Coming up later today, Dr. James Taylor is going to join us. He's a political scientist, teaches at the University of San Francisco. He's going to preview the next generation of politicians and discuss the Black-led Democratic America. So we'll see what happens with that. Also later this week, Professor Small will be here, Dr. David Horn, Mark Manheim, former Baltimore Mayor Sheila Dixon, Doctor of Clinical Psychology, Dr. Jeff Menzies, and more. They're all going to be here. So if you're in Baltimore, keep your radio locked on 1010 WOLB. If you're in the DMV, you're on FM 95.9 and AM 1450 WOL. Brother Man, too, I'm going to go back to you because I apologize for hijacking your question because that was an interesting question that you posed for JB, but I'll let you do your follow-up.
No, I appreciate it, brother, because it extends the understanding and you probe a little bit deeper because your statement prior to the break was that this beautiful, intelligent, strong, wise Black woman is here because of the year, to start the year.
Amen.
Your thoughts on how to start the year. And I think that when I see hardworking single Black fathers, when I see single Black mothers, when I see teenage parents, I saw a couple the other day, a week ago. They've been together for 7 years, high school. They're not formally married, but they're together, have 2 kids, and they've asked that they need help. And I was like, not that they don't have the wherewithal to know. It's like what Bobby Dick Gregory used to say, information is power.
Amen.
They just need to collect information so that they can link, because people like that should be rewarded.
That's right.
When I see children who help their parents out, they're the surrogate parents themselves, they need to be with someone like this beautiful lady here and getting that wisdom and getting that training from young. So by the time they're 25, they already have a home, they already understand the tax code, and they're building generational wealth. You know what I'm saying? So, it just makes me full, and it would have to take a radio station owned by another beautiful Black woman, Kathy Hughes, to have you on, So just to follow up and just close out. Oh, just real quickly, you mentioned the Heisman Trophy winner. His name is Caleb. I'm not a biblical scholar, but it says Caleb is a representative of the tribe of Judah during the Israelites' journey to the Promised Land. I don't know if that means anything, but we're all trying to get to the Promised Land.
That's right.
Now, financial literacy, how can we incorporate that into our family structure? It's not being done in the school, so I'm not even going to venture there, even though I know you could. But how can we incorporate that in what we do as a family? Because, we don't trust each other, and then we don't form trust to hand down generational wealth. So I'll let it be, and thank you for starting off my morning. Thank you, brother. Crazy. And peace and blessings.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Brother Man.
Thank you.
JB?
Beautiful. That's a very good point. And I think that the word trust that he says is key, because a lot of times will develop a trust, a legal document. There's so many of our families are developing these needless trust, legal documents without developing trust within the family, as he was encouraging us and saying that we're losing. And when we focus on developing trust in the family, that's the number one movement towards financial literacy that is called. But it's really more than literacy, because the reason that wealth is lost from generation to the next generation is because of the trust that's lost, and the love that's being lost from generation to generation. And that love and trust is such an energy. It's so connected to our finances, and we think that it's work and money, but it's really trust, love, money, and the trust and the love makes the work work, and the money is generated, and it goes from generation to generation because of the trust and the love that you have developed. And we're losing that, and I think that that is the biggest investment that we can make, is learning to love and trust one another, and the only way to do that is that we have to invest more time into getting to know one another and letting young people get to know us. So a lot of times when I work with young people, they take some of me and then they go. And like what happens is, I know they don't have enough. You know, they don't have enough. And what they need is realizing that
And hold on, Thor, when you say they don't have enough money or enough information.
enough information, but they get excited. Like when he was saying, like when they get their first house, they get excited and they think, we got it now. We don't need JB anymore. We got it. I'm gone. You know? So everything, that little time with Afro economics, where, you're not going to be able to find, anything else that's just going to want to spend time talking to you once a month, that and just, hey, how y'all doing? This, everything all right? And how is it, you keeping everything in check? And, that it is so valuable, the time I spend one-on-one with my members, that accountability time throughout your life. That's why I have a personal trainer, because I can blatantly see the difference between my performance and a person who just goes to the gym. When you have someone like JB Bryan helping you with your finances, and or you have this close relationship with your family, or you have, like, and I'm talking about trust and love, because I love my members. You can't buy that. You just can't. Like, they know that $30 a month does not buy my love, but we're developing trust because of the time that we're putting in with each other. And that's what I wanted to do with my community, because we've been so unfortunately exploited consistently. I see it sometimes, like, people would just hang out with me. That's why I have the free membership. They'll just hang out with me sometimes for a year and a half, 2 years. I have to let them know I'm not going anywhere. I've been doing this 30 years. Imma die doing this, God willing. I'm gonna die one day, but this is it. I'm in it to win it. But we've been so disappointed. But we have to realize that that's trust. And we as parents have to give that to our kids. Be there for them, for better or
Right there,
worse.
JB.
Yeah.
I forgot to ask you. Are you broadcasting on social
Yes,
media?
everywhere. Yeah, we got New Black World Order out there with us.
People can see you.
Go to all of your favorite media. What do you like? Facebook? Me and Carl Nelson are there. Do you like YouTube? Me and Carl Nelson are there. Go to afroeconomics.com and we're streaming live there. So you'll hear me and Carl's voice right there and me live. And so go to whatever, Facebook, LinkedIn, also we're streaming live. So
wow.
Go where you like.
Good to know.
Yes, right.
All right, 10 away from the top there. Mark is joining us. Mark's in Baltimore. He's on line 3. Mark, you're on with JB Bryan.
Good morning, Mark.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Nelson. Hi, JD. You were talking about your abundance of sort of fund money for parents and all that. My question is, with the rate of inflation, how much do the parents or grandparents or guardians, whoever the case may be for these young people, how much do they need to start off with to keep up with inflation? The rent is going up, everything is going up. And so do you have a baseline minimum, what's needed to help a family that's struggling to go at least to get by month to month? Or do you have what is the financial base that you have set for each family that's needing?
All right. Thanks, Mark. Good question. JB?
Thank you.
That is definitely depends on person and family to family. So your family has to set up its own lifestyle. Some families can do great off your $10,000 budget. But at the same time, I have a client who she gets $10,000 a month in retirement and she struggles by herself. And I'm like, girl, my goodness. So it depends on how your family has decided to live. And I encourage because I'm an entrepreneur. So I live that by, I don't have debt because you don't know what's coming in. But most of you are not entrepreneurs, so you know exactly what you're gonna make. So it's real easy for most parents to know exactly how they should be living because they know what they're gonna make because they know what's coming in. And if you want to increase that standard, well, now because you can get extra hustles going and make more money. And I have a lot of corporate people now doing DoorDash, Uber Eats, just doing things after work to bring in extra income more than I'd ever seen before. Even like single people with no children. So people are hustling hard. So I would say that if you don't want to hustle more, then people need to figure out where they can cut back. So it has to be getting to know your money mindset. And I have on YouTube my last week's video on figuring out the best case scenario, but it's about financial, our mindset and what we call behavioral finance. But how we make our decisions.
Right there, JB. I'll let you dive into behavioral finance on the other side. Well, we've got to take another quick break and check the traffic and weather in different cities. It's 7 minutes away from the top of the hour, folks. Our guest is financial expert JB Bryan. What she's doing is asking you to review your end-of-year finances and get ready for the new year. If you want to use the New Year's resolution to make more money or to be happy. Also, some people may be facing layoffs, JB. A lot of companies are laying out people now. They used to wait until the start of the year. They just cold-heartedly right before the holidays.
Yes.
So, folks, you got a question? Reach out to us in 4 minutes. We'll take them. In Baltimore on 1010 WOLB.
Yes.
In the DMV, we're on FM 95.9 and AM 1450. WOL, where information is power.
I remember laid off on Thursday. Yeah. Uh-oh. Don't get us in the rec center. Uh-oh. That's right. Good job.
Good morning.
That's
Traffic
right.
sponsored by Positive Coaching Alliance. Interlope of the Beltway, just a few brake lights now as you approach 295 on the way to and across the Woodrow Wilson Bridge. Northbound 295, not bad around Blue Plains, but slowing near Suitland Parkway on the way to and across the 11th Street Bridge. But better once you're westbound on 695 on the way over towards the 3rd Street Tunnel and Potomac Park. Building volume on Suitland Parkway from Branch Avenue in towards Stanton Road and also at the light at Firth Sterling Avenue. Good, though, on South Capitol Street once you merge and head across the Douglas Bridge. Into Northeast, 50 John Hanson Highway, bunching up before 202 towards the Anacostia River. BW Parkway, still some slow traffic coming down from Laurel. Earlier disabled vehicle near NASA Goddard is out of the way. Mostly sunny today, going up to 44. Partly cloudy tonight, low 28. It's 43 now at Reagan National. Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Info at positivecoach.org. I'm Robert Workman for News Talk 1450 AM WOL, where information is power.
What is a number story?
My number story started with fear and a lack of support, and it has led me to be there for others.
A number story begins in our childhood with ACEs, adverse childhood experiences.
My number story begins with the separation from my father and the emotional abandonment from my mother, and leads to me being a role model to not only myself, but those around me by becoming the person that wasn't there for me.
ACEs are so common, 2/3 of us have one.
My number story begins with drug
The
abuse
10
and homelessness
principles.
and leads to realizing that I can live life by my own standards.
A study found the more ACEs, the more likely we may experience a host of serious health effects, physical and mental. But that doesn't need to be the case. Your ACE number is simply an entry point to your own story. Where it leads is up to you.
My number story begins with years of emotional abuse and leads to peace, clarity, and security in my self-worth.
Take control of where your number story leads at numberstory.org.
I'm Tiffany Haddish. And I'm Marlon Wayans. African Americans are 3 times more likely to be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer than any other racial or ethnic group. When you or someone you love is facing a pancreatic cancer diagnosis, access to cutting-edge treatment can help make long-term survival possible and improve future patient outcomes. That's why Stand Up to Cancer and the Lustgarten Foundation have teamed up to bring over 30 pancreatic cancer clinical trials to those who need them. Learning all you can about pancreatic cancer, including treatment options and what clinical trials are available, can give you or a loved one even more than hope. It can help make long-term survival possible. For more information about the latest pancreatic cancer research and clinical trials near you, visit pancreaticcancercollective.org.
Are you excited about being a new grandmother?
Of course I am. A little intimidated, too.
Why?
Taking care of a baby today is so different than when I had you.
But Mom, you did great with me.
Thanks, son. But I put you on your stomach to sleep.
Right. But now we know that babies should always be placed on their backs to sleep for naps and at night to reduce the risk of sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS.
You also slept with blankets and toys in your crib.
True. But now we know to keep everything out of the crib except for my sweet baby girl. No blankets, pillows, or other soft or loose items.
Daddy's going to teach Nana all the ways to keep you safe while you sleep. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
For more tips on safe sleep for babies, visit safetosleep.nichd.nih.gov. That's safetosleep.nichd.nih.gov. Sponsored by the Eunice Kennedy Shriver National Institute of Child Health and Human Development.
Oh, I know what I can do.
Is not something that you feel until it happens. Most people lose their vision from diseases like macular degeneration and glaucoma. Not at birth.
With macular degeneration, you lose your central vision.
You have a blind spot right in the center of your face, so I can't actually see your face.
So even
that little circle in which I could see became a big blur.
I was 65 when I first was diagnosed with glaucoma.
There were no symptoms. I had no headaches. 3 million Americans have glaucoma, and half don't even know it.
11 million people in the United States have macular degeneration.
You
lose mobility, independence.
Let me see how I can put that up.
So many eye disorders can be treated if caught early.
My husband tells me that I have
We're gonna make
beautiful
it
brown
happen.
eyes, and I don't want to lose that.
Make a plan today to get your eyes checked.
Visit brightfocus.org
Get your
to
eyes
learn more.
checked.
WOL, Washington, D.C. W240DJ, Washington. 95.9 WMMJ, HD3, Bethesda. WKYS, HD3, Washington. WPRS, HD3, Waldorf, and worldwide at WOLDCnews.com.
The views and opinions of the following show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of News Talk 1450 WOL, Radio 1 Incorporated, or their management.
I think we got to talk.
The Carl Nelson Show.
Like,
All right, let's go.
oh. That's right.
And good morning once again, family. Minute after the top of the hour. And thanks for waking up with us this morning and taking us on your way to work. Our guest is a financial expert, JB Bryan. JB is providing us with some financial tips before we close out the end of the year. JB, I'll let you finish your thought. Then Terry in Connecticut's got a question for you.
My thoughts are complete. I'm ready for it. Connecticut. Let's do it.
All right, let's go to Terry on line 2. Terry, you're on with JB Bryan.
Good morning, Carl. Good morning, Miss Bryan.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes, I have a question, a two-part question. Question about building generational wealth through buying insurance policies. My son is in a good place. I'm in a good place. But I just thought maybe it would be a good idea to kind of establish some type of leave some type of legacy behind. Some additional monies, I suppose, is what I'm getting at. And the part B to my question, I try to spend my money black as often as I can. But sometimes some of these white people, these companies, they seem to be able to offer you some better deals. What would you do? Would you stay loyal and say, "Listen, I'll pay the additional monies and support my people," or would you be more concerned about saving on what you're trying to purchase?
Well, definitely, I think that we should not do pity business with each other. We should always do business with each other because it's the best thing for you to do. Sometimes I pay more to do business with Black people because I like that person, so that's a premium because I like that person. Like, I have a girl who happens to be Asian and I just happen to love her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love her. So I walk in the door giving her money. Like, you know what I mean? But I just love her. So, but when she was gone for a while, they ain't see me. I'm going somewhere else. Like, but I just like her, that person. So I'm going to pay more for that person if it's Asian or even if they were white, if I love them. Like, you know what I mean? If I love that person and they do good work and they help me help more Black people. So but I do agree with you. I enjoy working with Black people the most. If that, you know what I'm saying? If I have to, so if I had to choose, like if there was this person and this Black person was the best at it because I enjoyed working with them and they cost more, I thank God that I'm in a position to pay more and I'll go with them. But that's only because I have the money. But if I didn't have the money, I would have to tell the person you can't afford it. You can't afford to pay that, so you're going to have to go with the least expensive one and get the job done. It's kind of like if you have a business and you need a printer and you've got to send the printing to China because it's the cheapest way to get the t-shirts. but it can cost you twice as much to go to this printer on the corner.
I see.
You know what I mean? That's a hard choice, but you're gonna eat up all your profit if you go to that corner.
Right.
So
Can I throw some numbers at you though?
Sure.
I was looking at because I have already when my son was 5 years old, I think he was in 1999. I took out a $350,000 term insurance for him, which ran out in 2019. But he was young, and I just wanted to make sure, in case anything would happen to me, that his college expenses and would be all taken care of, and
it was term.
Establish his life.
It was
Yes,
term.
it was.
May I jump in here for a second, Terry? Can I,
Yes.
and JB? Does that money that he that insurance that he bought is now non-existent, does he get his money back, or is that gone?
I think that's gone,
Terry?
Carl.
Yeah.
That's gone.
Okay. Yeah. And the term is up. You're saying the term is up?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. If you don't die during that term, the term is up. I mean, it's the okay. And
but the thing is, okay, so I was looking at an additional, taking out another policy. Okay, the young lady, the sister, could give it me $150,000 for $69 a month, and those other folks can give me $250,000 for like $89, $90 a month. And that's why I was questioning the loyalty. And again, I mean, I try to support my people as much as possible, as much as I can.
Yeah.
So, and then
it's a term policy.
Is that worth it? I'm sorry.
It's a term policy.
Yes, it's a term policy.
It's a both. So yeah, the pound for pound.
So JB, let me jump here again. Can he get back some of the money? I mean,
no.
It seems like,
no. Because the only money that you get back from a life insurance is your own money anyway. So Carl, you want to avoid having policies that are giving you money back. It's kind of like on a tax return when you get money back, it's your own money. So there's this new movement now where people are overpaying into life insurance, and all they're doing is like helping out that person. So like you can that they're getting commission off you and that company. So, and as he's illustrating in this, that you have to quote numbers. And I do that to people all the time. So this is a great call because look, my brother, people will come to me with this same example, and the person will have a term that's charging them more. I will show them twice as much, like this illustration, for less. And I'm not lying. Unfortunately, when it's a sister that looks just like me, she will stay with that. She will stay with the quote for the higher amount. She will stay and pay more and get less coverage. She go, oh, JB, I don't know what to do. I'll go, oh my goodness. Now, like you said, a man is not going to do that. Like there's like, what? No, pound for pound. That's where I got to look at it. If I die, my son's going to get 100,000 more. Sis said to me, I don't know. And I hear these things over and over from my own women. Like, oh, I'll say, oh, if you do this, I could save you $10,000 just like that this year. $10,000. And she'll go, I don't know. I don't know. So like you said, like, yeah, like you are looking at it the right way. And unfortunately, the sister should work for a different company. And you should go back to her and tell her what you're looking at and show her, because she, we don't own the insurance company. So when I'm quoting insurance, I can quote 100 different companies. All I'm doing is brokering it. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So she needs to see, like, she's just trying to get a higher commission. You know what I'm saying? That you're smart and you show her like I'm going to do this unless you can get me better than this, or at least this. I would rather do it with you. And then she said, well, I can't, you know what I mean? Then she needs to justify why. Like hers might have some sort of rider on it. It might have like whatever, but You don't need the rider, sis. Take it off. He wants the coverage. He just wants maximum death benefit for his son. Plain vanilla for a particular term. But make sure, because a lot of these new policies, they'll say such and such a term, right? But it's trickery. It'll say 20 years, but it'll be 5 years fixed. And then after 5 years, it'll switch to a 1 year renewal, like where hers might actually be 20 years. So look at the little print in that other one. Cause this one brother showed me this policy and it said whole life. And it was not whole life. It was like 5 years term. And then he was gonna, it was gonna start going up every year after that. I said, that's some BS.
Yeah, that's unheard of.
But it's popular. That was a major company. That was a major company. And they put whole life in the name of the policy. And it's not a whole life policy. It just will cover you for your whole life. So it was a term basically that will cover you for your whole life because it would turn into a 1 year renewable term for your whole life.
I just want another quick question.
Yeah.
I was told this, and okay, I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, so if I say I bought another 20-year term and something happened to me within 10 years, I was told that my son or whoever the beneficiary would be, that they couldn't collect unless the whole term run out. In other words, it would be another 10 years that he would have to pay on it.
That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
That's crazy. They were desperate.
All right.
So what did they want you to do? Buy just 10 and make sure you die? Like James Earl Jones in that movie. Did you see it? And James said, I'm going to die now. Like, nah, bet on.
So in essence, if I find a good place, a place to buy the policy, it's a good idea to buy a policy just for generational wealth to build or to leave behind, actually.
If you're in good health and it's affordable, it's nice. It's not definitely can't hurt. Your son will never he'll never be mad at you. Look,
you're right.
He ain't gonna be mad. But it's like a lot of times people are just so sickly when they're older, they can't get approved for a policy.
I see.
So, if you live right, and that's another reason why we as older grown folk should not be saying that smoking is not a big deal, because young people who start smoking will pay more for everything.
Oh, yes.
Everything. Forever.
That's one of the first questions. Yeah.
Even in that healthcare.gov, they ask. Even on that health insurance that takes everybody, they ask, do you smoke? So they will adjust the premium on that. Even though the government gets paid from cigarette companies.
But you know what? The doctors is always trying to pin high blood pressure on black folks and diabetes and stuff. That's another thing. I ain't never.
And we accept it. And we accept it. We accept it though. We accept it. We have to stop accepting it. When they say change your diet, you know what I mean? Change your diet. Change your diet. The 10th principle of Afroeconomics is Black health, because it costs us too much to be sick. It is too much. It costs us too much to smoke. Right. It costs us too much.
On a break, but
yep.
And Terry, I want to thank you for your call. And
Thank
JB, thank you for your question, because that's one of the issues that one of the things that we should be reviewing at this end of the year is our life insurance, our policies.
That's right.
Am I correct in saying that, JB?
That's right. Always. Yes, indeed. Each quarter, check out your beneficiaries. Make sure that you have enough, that on the regular, but definitely update your beneficiaries, because you'd be amazed how many people have their beneficiaries still with their exes or stuff like that. So but when I went through my breakup, as he was walking out the door, I was updating my forms. You have to take the time to get that stuff right. You have to. And we just don't. But you're doing your legacy a disservice by not sitting down and organizing your paperwork. So if you haven't done it all year, do it now. Yes.
All right, that's some great advice. Again, thank you, Terry. I'll take a short break. Thank you for those questions, and thank you for bringing up life insurance for us, folks.
That's
15 after the top of the hour, we're going to take a look at the traffic and weather in our different cities. We'll be back in four minutes with JB Bryan, giving us some more tips that we need to know about as we close out this end of the year, financial tips, that is. We'll be back in Baltimore on 1010 WLB, in the DMV on FM 95.9 and AM 1450. WOL, where information is power.
I see people remarried with their ex-wife still as the beneficiary on their life insurance. Unless you do that on purpose, that's a tragedy. Well, only. But if she's my client, we good. We good. I got a client. May she rest in peace. Her husband died at the girlfriend's house. The girlfriend called her. He was in the bed. Died. Massive heart attack.
Unbound.org. Out all over the Beltway.
He had his paperwork straight, though.
Through Silver Spring, better after Georgia Avenue. In a loop of the Beltway, bit of congestion.
And she won't upset at all. She was
early morning.
Cool.
Disabled vehicles southbound BW Parkway near NASA.
Her and the girl were cool.
The delays have kind of moved downstream. It's busy across the Beltway.
She got there. The ambulance was there.
Start just after 410 as you head into Northeast. Slow down New York
Took
Avenue.
him on. I think he was already gone.
Kenilworth Avenue, slow from Eastern Avenue down past East Capitol.
He went out happy.
Pennsylvania Avenue. Northbound I-295 congested.
Everybody gonna die. Might as well die happy.
And across the 11th Street.
Took care of the client. Client took care of me. We all good.
28, 43 now at Reagan National. A girl in
May
Kenya
he rest in peace also.
An elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Reach out and change their world.
The only thing though,
Unbound.org.
girlfriend didn't get nothing.
WOL. For information is power.
Our troops overseas will
say
be
it.
their loved ones, even more so this time of year. Support our troops by sending a care package this season. This message is sponsored by Kirk Chapman Realty, with Fairfax Realty Elite, serving D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. Whether you're buying or selling, call 240-447-1977 and mention this ad for a free market analyst or home inspection. Kirk Chapman Realty, Fairfax Realty Elite is asking everyone to please donate a military care package this holiday season.
This is your Black Health 365 moment. December is dedicated to Crohn's and colitis
Can you
awareness
believe it's like
and the
next
challenges
week is
faced by people who
Christmas?
suffer from these illnesses. Crohn's disease is a chronic inflammatory condition of the gastrointestinal tract, while ulcerative colitis is a chronic inflammatory condition limited to the colon or large intestine. Learning as much as possible about these illnesses can help improve overall health. This has been your Black Health 365 update, because a healthy lifestyle is a daily choice.
Do every day.
I'm Don Chaney, former NBA player and coach, and I have hereditary ATTR-CM, or transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, a life-threatening condition that can lead to heart failure.
Let your heart speak to you.
If you have been diagnosed with heart failure and you're still experiencing fatigue, the shortness of breath, or seemingly unrelated symptoms such as carpal tunnel syndrome,
who is that?
Listen with all your heart and soul.
Early diagnosis is key. I'm here to testify to that.
Download the doctor discussion guide to know what questions to ask your doctor at yourheartsmessage.com/Don. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Didn't he say Dick Cheney?
Ron had a tax problem he just couldn't handle on his
own. Didn't sound right.
IRS tax for over 5 years. Ron called
I didn't know he had a southern accent. Did Dick Cheney have a southern accent?
Really, he was from tax resolution firm. Optima is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Ron was overjoyed.
They are life.
He was from like
Call 800-569-4435.
It had to be him though.
4435.
That had to be him though, because he had that heart problem, right? Yeah.
Details visit
Wow.
National Urban League here with a question.
Mm.
Did you get your COVID booster?
That's
It's
amazing.
holidays
He's still
with tons
alive.
of gatherings with family and friends,
Yeah,
and we
he's
want
had
to
a
make sure you
couple heart
pull
issues.
up
That
your
is a
exit. Contact your
long
local Urban League to
time.
find a
That
vaccine
probably makes
location
him
near
talk
you,
like that.
or
Yeah.
go to anywell.org. The All In Against COVID program, supported by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, with funds of $5.53 million,
He had a whole
or 33%
transplant, I
of the
think.
program's funding. 67% of program funds are financed through other federal funding
Yeah,
sources.
it's amazing.
A message from the National Urban League.
Finding the entertainment that speaks to you shouldn't be hard, and Prime Video gets it. Introducing Prime Video's new culture-rated collection for Black stories, talent, and creators. Whether you're catching up on Harlem before season 2 or streaming the new drama series, Riches, if you want it, Prime Video's culture-rated collection has it. With Culture Rated, Prime Video
I don't know
celebrates
that
Black
guy.
culture all the time. Find us at
I
Amazon.com/culture-rated-PV.
wonder what his name is. I should name.
I've been holiday shopping at Kohl's, and I've got to admit, their deals are some of the best I've seen. I've been earning Kohl's cash every
thank
day,
you.
while saving
Well,
an extra 25% on top
World
of 50% off cute PJs and 40% off comfy slippers. Plus, I just got 30% off Super Soft Kookaburra by UGG bedding. With more gifts and more savings at Kohl's, the holidays just got so much cozier. Select styles. Offers end December 18th. Kookaburra by UGG coupons do not apply. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Now back to the Carl Nelson Show.
Hey, good morning once again, family. 21 minutes after the top of the hour, our guest is financial advisor J.B. Bryan. JB says this is the time for us to review our end-of-year finances. She's got some tips for us to take into the new year. If you want to reach her, reach out to us at 800-450-7876. Gregory's calling us. He's in Brandywine, Maryland. He's on line 2. Gregory, you're on with J.B. Bryan.
Yeah, what's up, Carl? Good morning to your guest.
Thank you.
I just wanted to comment. Last thing I heard about insurance and term insurance. Basically, term is like renting, and I think financially, literacy for people of the African diaspora, we don't understand some of the tools that we can actually use to build generational wealth. Some of the comments that we're making is correct, but most time a term is set at particular. A certain amount of years, and if it's a 10-year term, it expires in 10 years, and after that point, it increases where you can't even afford it because the term is only a temporary solution. And, there's other, what happens usually when we look at insurance, we usually look at it as for death, but insurance policies, if you have the, right people representing you and that has the knowledge on how to actually design it is a very powerful tool because it's not just for a death benefit, and that's what we get confused about. It does so much more. And also you get the advantages of tax-free income when you do receive it if we actually use it the proper way. And I think it's a misnomer about that information. But if we start out early with our children when they're first born, we won't have to worry about most of the time their health issue because then they're guaranteed insurability as long as that policy is enforced. And most of the times, if you do it, you don't do a term for a child. It'll either be a whole life or IUL, some other type of product. So I just wanted to, comment on that and, correct some exes. There are some black insurance companies out here. It is true that a lot of white insurance companies just take advantage of our community, and that's where we get this distrust. Like she was saying before, about the trust and love. So basically, I wanted to say that. It's because you really actually feel in an instant state when you get a policy. And like you said, you have to know actually what your policy is doing and know where it's at. So
all right. Let's give it a chance to respond. Thank you,
Yeah.
Gregory.
He definitely brought out some good points because the way that I'm able to use policies to help is that I can help a client not have to use the insurance to accomplish everything. But a lot of times, if they're working with someone and they're only licensed as an insurance agent, the insurance policy has to do everything for them. So they have to overpay, like you were talking about, Carl, where you're putting extra money into the policy. So if you get rid of the policy, you want to get that cash value out. So the cash value, if you're sold a policy based on the cash value down the road, you're really using the policy to invest in. You're using the policy for a retirement plan. And of course, the policy has fees that are much higher than we would have an investment account, hypothetically. That's the goal. So if we have this investment account that's in the stock market that's way outperforming the insurance policy, then the person who has their money overpaying into the insurance policy by $200-300 a month, and they could have been putting that into their 401k at work pre-tax and use term for the insurance, then that the person who is investing at work will at one point be self-insured because they'll have $1 million and they really won't need that life insurance as much. So, but the life insurance can dominate them if the premium is too high and they're overfunding it, and they'll sell them on, when you get to this point, you won't have to pay taxes on this. But this one at work, you're gonna have to pay taxes on that when you take it out. But that one at work is growing tax deferred, and it will be taxable when you take it out. But that one at the insurance company, if you look at the guaranteed column, it's a fraction of what they're telling you about. So I had a client that got into that, and they did a whole illustration and told him what he was going to get, and it would be tax-free, and he was overfunding it. And then his accountant told him, talk to JB about this. So I showed him in the insurance illustration, there's a column, guaranteed, or this, or that. And the only one that you really should be focusing on is the guaranteed, because that's all they're really going to give you. So no matter how much you put in there, that's all they can really tell you. The truth is this guaranteed column. And the client almost threw the table across the room when he realized he had been taken. So you can you have to be careful.
Some more folks want to talk to you as well.
Be careful.
Charles is in Baltimore on line 2. Charles, you're on with JB Bryan.
Yes, how you doing, JB Bryan?
Great, thank you. With no T. Bryan. But everybody does that. They go like Kobe Bryant. There's a whole bunch of more Bryants, right? But I'm just a Bryan, like a person's name. So they used to call my dad Bryan Curtis. His name was Curtis Bryan. I'm JB Bryan. It's like I have two names, right? But I'm Bryan. Yeah, great. Well, now you know. Everybody knows now. I wanted to say that. I was holding it inside. Not to be confused with a Bryan with a T.
I feel you.
Amen.
Let me ask you. Is it the insurance game, another pyramid Ponzi scheme? I just don't understand it.
You got to be very careful with it, because I'm telling you, it will get you, even as an agent. Like, because I bought like a lot of insurance on myself in my 20s. And then like now in my 30s, I'm just joking. But now, look, now a little older, I realized I started like investigating, and I'm like, what are you saying? And this is me. Look, I'm the licensed agent. And they're like, no matter what, like, no matter how much over I pay, my death benefit won't be paid out. I thought that was outrageous. It was just impossible. I was like, there is no class, there is nothing, and this is a major insurance company that my policy is with. And I said,
well, it seems like it's all running the same way the banks have run.
Yeah.
The banks started. That they're using the people for the fodder so they can make themselves an entity and leave us behind.
They're huge. The insurance is huge. I mean, and they're very, very,
pie in the face.
they're very, I mean, I don't think people really understand how huge financial services is in the United States of America. Like, it is huge.
They don't want to.
Huge.
They read a blue pill and they say, wait a minute, I ain't taking no pill. But they will take a shot, though.
Goodness gracious. Financial services is huge. Yeah. And insurance is huge. Like that. And then we're at the point now where the Labor Department has said that every retirement account has to put on there what the annuity, now that's insurance, payout would be.
Right, because
to me,
they got to hedge the bet. They got to hedge the bet because those things are used for wars. The 401k is used for wars. The IRA is used for wars. All of these things we're paying into that are bank and insurance related are used to fund all these wars around the world.
And to me, to me, it was like a blatant, like if they start putting that on statements, that's a blatant, like subconscious thing telling everybody, why aren't you in one? Like, you know what I'm saying? A movement back, because there was a movement away. Now there's going to be a movement, you know what I mean, back. Like, and I'm not saying I don't use annuities. I'm just saying that there's like, there shouldn't be like that type of like marketing, you know what I'm saying, of something. Like that it's like just put there like that.
We're the collateral for the debt.
Yeah.
And they keep telling you in different ways, you are the collateral.
Yeah.
You are the one that pays all the money out. So you got the money, you're the collateral for our debt.
Yeah.
But when they say how are they going to get paid, they say they point at us.
And I thought it was interesting, but did you see what this Secure Act, this new, like that's what they call it, the Secure Act with this administration, is this new retirement plan. Nothing about it really does anything to secure people. It's all about helping the employer, like, do.
No, it's securing Joe Biden. He's doing
exactly.
Anything, he's doing anything he can to pull it out.
Yeah, and it's
he's so bad. He'll take anything he can.
It's amazing that people haven't seen. Yeah, I mean, it literally is basically giving tax credits to employers if they can make employees have to put money into their retirement account coming in. Like it's kind of, you know,
hang on, guys, we got to take a short break. Charles, I thank you for your call. 27 minutes away from the top of the hour. Our guest is financial expert JB Bryan. You got a question about your finances, you want to get your finances in order before the end of the year, reach out to us at 800-450-7876. As I mentioned, we got to check the latest news, traffic, and weather in our different cities. We'll be back in 4 minutes, though, with your questions for JB on 1010 WOLB in Baltimore. In the DMV, we're on FM 95.9 and AM 1450. WOL, where information is power.
Thanks, Carl. Whoa, we were rolling. We're rolling, exactly. We were like, blah, 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 blah. Carl was like, Lord, let's stop this. I'm like, dude, what kind of security is that?
Good morning, folks. I'm Earl Kirk. Here's the latest from News1.com. A new poll shows a majority of Democrats don't want President Biden to run for a second term.
The CNBC All-America Economic Survey found that 57% of likely Democratic voters said they do not want Biden to run in 2024. The poll also found 61% of voters surveyed don't want former President Trump to run for the White House again either. Trump formally threw his hat in the ring last month. Biden, who just turned 80 in November, has said he'll make a decision early next year. I'm Julie Ryan.
I should have said something.
An arrest in a Silver Spring gas station shooting is leading to a new mystery. Montgomery County
The only
police
thing that
found a
could
dead
go wrong
woman
is
in
the guy's
suspect's
late,
apartment.
but
The 31-year-old man is accused
he
of
should
getting
be
into
on
a fight
time.
with a clerk on Thursday and then killing him. He was tracked down Friday, but when
It won't
officers
happen.
searched his home, they found a decomposing body. They say the dead woman may have been
I had
8
to call him
months
from the
pregnant.
car.
An autopsy
Look, you'd
is
be like,
underway.
look, Timmy, you have to call him
Work
from the
will begin
car
today
because
to
you
remove Richmond's last Confederate monument. The statue of General A.P. Hill will be taken
we go
down,
to that
and his
commercial on the
remains,
top of the hour,
which
and I
will
call him
likely
for the
will
car.
be
Keep
moved
moving.
to a cemetery in
I
Culpeper.
got you, Paul.
Metro is improving bus
No
service.
worries.
Changes began Sunday on 29 busy routes, 14 in D.C., 11 in
The
Maryland, and
Virginia
4 in
Fine
Virginia.
Arts Museum.
Officials say they're going to be more reliable and not as crowded. Riders will see shorter wait times on the 70 bus along Georgia Avenue and 7th Street, the L2 along Connecticut Avenue, and the N2 and N4 along Mass Avenue. There's also an extra stop on the 18G northbound to the Pentagon. This year's Heisman Trophy winner is from the DMV. USC quarterback
That's
Caleb
Marvin Gaye.
Williams accepted the honor over the weekend. He grew up in PG
Make you want
County
to holla, I
and attended
think.
Gonzaga College High School in D.C., which tweeted out a big congrats. Sunday night football, Chargers down the Dolphins 23-17. College hoops, number 7 Tennessee over number 13 Maryland 56-53. I'm Earl Kirk. When you're looking for news for Black America, go to news1.com.
Good morning. Traffic sponsored by Unbound.org. Likely to see some brake lights on the BW Parkway in Laurel at 197, and then at the Beltway for the merging traffic. Interloop of the Beltway, some flowing from Route 1 as you head around towards Greenbelt and the BW Parkway exit. Inbound on Route 50, you'll slow between 410 and 202 into Northeast. Pretty solid down New York Avenue to Bladensburg Road, then from Florida Avenue over to the 3rd Street Tunnel. Keep in mind that west of the tunnel over near the Convention Center, street closures around that area because of the U.S. Africa Leaders Summit this week. Southbound on Kenilworth Avenue, heavy traffic from Eastern Avenue down past Capitol Street. Some building volume now on 695. Both
Y'all know the call-in number.
Mostly sunny today, going up to 44. Partly cloudy tonight, low 28. 43 now at Reagan National. A girl in Kenya dreams of becoming a doctor. An elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Reach out and change their world, and it'll change your own. Unbound.org. I'm Robert Workman for News Talk 1450 AM WOL, where information is power.
Message.
Educational Opportunity Center says school is an important part of your life. Don't give up on your dreams. This message courtesy of Educational Opportunity Center, serving adults 19 and over who wish to return or continue their education and secure job opportunities. To learn more, visit aap.umd.edu. That's aap.umd.edu. Dr. Marco Graham and his staff are leaders and role models for our community.
Will they find a home? Sponsored by Geico. Jane doesn't mind an apartment with no elevator.
5 flights of stairs is 5 plates of cardio.
Bob is a little less enthusiastic about stairs.
I hate stairs.
Compromise is tough, but these two won't have to compromise when they bundle renters and car insurance with Geico. It's easy, and they could save even more. In the end, Jane and Bob found an apartment that's a 4-story walk-up. And Bob?
Yeah, there's a freight elevator she
Is
doesn't
it
know
Christmas
about.
What were you talking about?
Oh, nothing.
Bundling without compromise at Geico.com.
Military personnel are returning home with specialized skills. Hire smart, hire a vet. This message is sponsored by Raven Williams Exit Right Realty in Laurel, where they're serving our area with excellence. Whether you're buying or selling, call Raven at 301-807-3854. 301-807-3854. She can help you buy or sell your home in 90 days. That's Raven Williams Exit Right Realty on the air, reminding everyone to hire smart, hire a vet.
At Total Wine and More, save big on what you love this December with hundreds of deals. Get up to 35% off over 200 different wines and spirits,
finish
including
school so I can
Cabernet,
write another
sparkling
book,
wine,
huh?
single barrel bourbon, and
That's
so
what
much
I
more.
need to do.
These savings are huge, and even better,
Well, I'm
they're on
writing a
top of
book in
prices that are
school.
already the lowest in town. Deals this good don't last long, so visit
Where's my
Total Wine and More to find yours. Love what you
can't see
find
it.
at the lowest price, only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly.
Oh, look at
B21.
that. You got to get really close. My offices. I'll never
Now
see my
back to the
business
Carl
card.
Nelson Show.
I'm trying to do that.
And good morning once again, family. 20 minutes away from the top of the hour with our guest financial expert, JB Bryan. JB is giving us some tips for, to start the new year, some financial tips, I should say. She says, this is the end of the year, and now's the time to review your finances. We'll go back to JB in a moment. Just want to congratulate once again Caleb Williams from for USC. Actually, it was high school. He went to Gonzaga High School in the district. He won the Heisman Trophy, of course. On Saturday, he becomes the first person from the DMV area to win the Heisman. At Gonzaga, he went to Gonzaga, then he went to Oklahoma, and then when his coach, Lincoln Riley, moved to USC, he transferred to SC as well, and he's an underclassman, so he's got another shot at winning the Heisman again, which is, of course, symbolic of college football's best player. Later this morning, actually, black politics expert, Dr. James Taylor, will be here. And he's going to talk about the next generation of politicians, young politicians, including Hakeem Jeffries and the new potential squad members, as he discusses what he calls a black-led democracy in America. And this week, we're going to have people like Professor James Small will be here, Dr. David Horn, the Trinidad African Summit is going to join us, Mark from Anaheim will be here, Baltimore Mayor, or former Baltimore Mayor, Sheila Dixon will join us, and also the Doctor of Clinical Psychology, Dr. Jeff Mentis, and more. Those folks are all going to be here this week. So if you're in Baltimore, keep your radio locked on 1010 WOLP. If you're in the DMV, we're on FM 95.9 and AM 1450 WOL. JB, one of these numbers that jumped out at me. A survey says that 50% of women say they are behind on saving for retirement. What's wrong with? What's the problem here? Women, 50%, half of the women say they're behind in saving for retirement. Why?
Because when JB Bryan tries to help them save money, they don't take advantage of it, right? A lot of it, though, is that, like, if you were, of course you did, but, remember that example I was given about where I was saying, this is how we can cut your expenses. And instead of the sisters like, oh, yes, let me do this, there were two, like, caught up in, oh, how do I tell this guy that he's charging me too much? Oh, I like him. I've always dealt with him, but it's like, no, but this is ridiculous. So I think that we have to take control of our investments a lot earlier in our life. And I really think that we have a lot of responsibility for Black wealth, because a lot of the traditional jobs in the Black community are held by Black women. So when they do the numbers about Black wealth, they're really talking a lot about Black women, because a lot of Black men are more likely to have businesses. So they're not really going to be included in those numbers. And when you own your own business, you're going to do a lot of things to reduce your taxable income. So men tend to work longer, and not where the woman is going to want to get out of that corporate environment. So what we need to do is take seriously the other statistic, that it's highly likely that a woman of any color is going to have to, at some point in her life, be responsible for her finances. So that is like, if it's upon death of her spouse, or because generally women live longer than men, then she's going to have to become responsible, or because she never marries, or because, that she's just, has to be, whatever her situation, statistically, at some point in her life, the woman is going to have to be responsible for her own finances. And even sadly, that an older person who goes through a divorce, a woman is more likely to be financially devastated by that change. So the gray divorce, I have a video on that in my library. Of course, it's free, on the gray divorce, about how to transition from that. So a lot of these numbers could be from that even though, that we see like that, the women making more money and things, but they might not be able to transition through these divorces and things as well as a man can. So it's we have to, be very responsible about what do I, and I have one client that as soon as she was going through the divorce, she said, "What do I need to do?" And she immediately started financially planning on her own. And that I just have to admire that process of like, okay, I have to take charge of this. And it did catch her off guard. She did not plan on being 40 years married and then going through a divorce. But no matter what life presents to us, if you don't feel that you're prepared, what type of steps are you now taking to turn this around? And a key step is taking advantage of reducing expenses like that. And I mean expenses within your investments and in your insurances and in, the things that you can control, because we can't control the stock market or what the Federal Reserve does to our portfolio, but we can control what we put in it, the core expenses of those things. So like there's, or how we're taxed on things, or the distributions that we make, or the loans that you're taking out. So if you've got to take if I look and you're putting away $300 a month, and then but $200 of that is going to a loan that you're paying back, you're not really saving as much as you think, because your 200 of that 300 is going to catch you up for that loan. And so you're really only saving 100. So even though, the loan, I'm loaning my own money, it's slowing down your future. And what was the loan for? What did you take it out for? And if you look at that number, it's women tend to go into debt for something that's not even for themselves. The child needed a car. The child needed this. The child needed that. Like, this was like the first year that I actually said no to my daughter, I think, about something. And I was like, no, I don't think that's reasonable. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that because I don't think that that's best for you. And I had to really monitor myself. And I think that is really hard for a lot of women to just get to the point of just saying no. And I don't want to sound like it's harder for women with boys, but I think it is. I think it is. It might just be because I don't have a boy, but I think it is. And I think that, they're spending too much on the younger generation, and it's slowing down their accumulation for their retirement.
All right, 12 away from the top of the hour, 800-450-7876. Rick's in D.C.'s got a question for you. He's on line 2. Rick, you're on with J.B. Bryan.
Hey, Rick.
Good morning, Carl. Good morning, J.B.
Good morning.
J.B., I would like to ask you a question. I would like to ask you, if you was given all the keys in the treasure trove and someone asked you, first of all, how much is the deficit that the United States owes? Second question nobody asked is, who is the money owed to? The first thing most people will say is China, but if you look, that's a very small percent of the total debt. The third question I want to ask you is this. Why do you think this system is set up as you get older, they want you to work less and penalize you more? And the fourth question, Social Security is a system that they say that is in jeopardy, but nobody asks why is it in jeopardy. It's in jeopardy from what I understand because it's not enough of this generation paying into it. So the whole key is, to me, to the economical problem, is to get more people working. And most governments
seemingly are structured to try to get as much people in the workforce as possible with retraining. I think we're on the right track, but I want to sit back and just listen to you.
Check this out. I'm so glad that you said that, because the other day I was in a.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you so much, because that Social Security question I have to. I'm so glad God is good, because did you know that there's a maximum level of income that participates in Social Security? It's like just over 100,000. Like after you make that, like let's say 130, like your income is not putting anything into that Social Security pot. So there's a maximum Social Security check that you'll receive, Carl. So most people see that as like, oh, that's so bad. Like, that's just bad. Like, they're only going to get a check this big. But what it does is, for higher income people, it allows them to save more. Think about it, Carl. They're able to save more because they don't have to put of that higher income into that Social Security slow A-double-S pot, where everybody in lower income has to take their money and, 7.5% going in, to this little slow to no, it's not even doing anything, going in to that Social Security pot, and then the employer 7.5%. But when you get to higher income, they're not putting any. So somebody's making $200,000, and from that, after that 130, that from there to there, even if they make $500,000 or $1 million, it's not going in there. It's not going in the pot. So that's why the pot is running out. Like, but nobody talks about that. Like, Biden doesn't say, well, we got all these high income people who now he's giving them, they don't have to pay their school loans back, but they don't have to they don't have to put their money in that pot, and the pot is going down, but they can just take out from the first pot, and then they get to put more, and they can save more. So it's shown, like, so they're able to have a better standard of living right now, also because they have less of their premium money that has to go away of their income, where we have to, you know what I'm saying? A lower income has to go, into that Social Security and wait for it. Well, they get to put it in higher return. They get to invest it. They get to put it in the 401k and have control over it. But if we only get the majority of us, if we only get one check out of that Social Security, they get to keep the rest. Where they decided, because they're in Congress, that after I get this, y'all can't get no more of that and put that in that stuff. Not my high stuff. No, I want that money to myself. I'll manage it myself. And that's why they have no problem with Social Security, because the higher income doesn't have to worry about it. And that's why, I mean, it's such a great question. Yeah. I'm so glad I said, because I was like the other day, I was like, wow.
I got another question for you. A tweeter, and I'll let you consider this while we take the short break and look at the traffic and weather. The tweeter says, should he or she consider a CD, a high yield savings account, or a money market account for next year? And I'll let you ponder on that and give us your thoughts on the other side of the short break. 6 minutes away from the top of the hour. We'll be back in 4 minutes in Baltimore on 1010 WOLB. If you're in the DMV, we're on FM 95.9 and AM 1450. WOL, where information is power.
I hope y'all can understand what I was saying. Good morning. Do you understand what I was saying?
Good morning. Traffic sponsored by Unbound.org. Some slowing
Then I'm
southbound
putting it in.
198 to 197. And again, for the merging traffic at the Beltway, lanes are all open. Expect to slow near the decision point for New York Avenue and Kenilworth Avenue. On Route 50 looks good coming in from Bowie towards 704 on the Beltway. You'll slow a little
You get
bit
what I'm
after
saying, Paul?
on the way to the Anacostia River.
I'm sorry, you get what I'm saying? Like if everything was going in, if I got everything, we got 7.5% of everybody's money went in that pot. Like, for the, you know what I'm saying? Can you imagine how much money we'd have in there? Like $1 million. Somebody got $1 million. We just kept getting 7.5, 7.5. You see what I'm saying? Like
Low 28.
I know. That pot wouldn't be empty. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Of being part of a community.
That was so smart of them to like, no, let's max this. Let's max this. This is all you get access to. That's amazing. I'll take care of the rest.
And people like me and you have been putting into that for
oh my goodness, exactly.
Student supplies. Let's do the math.
They said, nah, this is mine. So that's why they really never had to push for privatizing. Because they're kind of privatized already. If you're high income, they're already privatized. At least half of their income.
Here's what you can do. DonorsChoose.org and choose the teacher requests that support reading, math,
Since McDonald's.
history, and more. Once the request is funded, we'll take care of shipping everything directly to the teacher. It's that.
But if you had to file for something, they'd be like shaking you upside down. Well, how old are you? Well, let's see what you qualify for. Well, you're not quite how sick are you? Well, you better give me my money. Just give me my $5.
Support a classroom.
It's sad.
It'll be interesting to see if there's anything there for us when me and you are ready to retire someday.
Until the wild is truly
give me your $10 and leave me alone. Look, then they'll take like half of it back in taxes. They can tax up to 85% of it.
Earth Justice has 100
Yeah.
full-time lawyers fighting in court for our
That's amazing.
and representing all clients free of charge. No one fights more cases on the environment than Earth Justice. And we win because these are fights we cannot lose. Until justice stands for all, Earth Justice will never rest. If you share our restless spirit and want to commit to fighting for a just and equitable future for everyone, go to earthjustice.org/neverrest. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer. Though Phi no longer drives, he can still fly down the track. Staying fit helps Phi stay flexible in his ongoing fight with retinitis pigmentosa,
Get up.
a blinding retinal disease.
Come on. Get up.
But even when the way forward is hard to see,
Get up.
Phi is always hopeful because
Get
he knows
up.
he's not fighting
Get on
alone.
the phone. Get
For
up.
50 years,
Get
the
on the
Foundation
phone.
Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding diseases, providing real hope to those fighting vision loss. And our nationwide community of local chapters provides networking and support for people with vision loss, as well as their loved ones. Because the best way to fight against blinding diseases is to fight together. And for Phi, winning the fight against vision loss means seeing new ways to push himself. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Learn more about how you can help us end blinding
Let me
diseases
tell you a story,
at
yes, how I
fightingblindness.org.
got to be so fresh.
Eating, working, living pain-free. These are a few of the things many of us take for granted. Yet for many United States military veterans, finding and affording oral health care is a challenge. Dental Lifeline Network is looking for dentists who can change this.
break of
Will you volunteer to help people like Richard, a U.S. naval veteran who suffered severe PTSD after his service? He was left homeless for a period of time, and his oral and overall health are suffering. Because of congressional limitations, the VA can't provide the dental health he needs. Through our Will You See One Vet program, we focus on helping U.S. military veterans like Richard. Now we are seeking more general dentists and specialists to donate treatment to at least one veteran with special needs. When you volunteer with DLN's program to see one vet, we handle the details so you can focus on the care. If you are a dentist or know a dentist, please share this message and help us make a difference in the life of a veteran in need. Visit WC1vet.org to learn more. That's
It's almost 8, y'all. It's time to go.
WOL, Washington,
Carl's
D.C.
gonna say bye.
W240 DJ, Washington.
Paul's gotta get out of here.
95.9 WMMJ, HD3, Bethesda. WKYS, HD3, Washington. WPRS, HD3, Waldorf, and worldwide at WOLDCnews.com. The views and opinions of the following show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of News Talk 1450 WOL, Radio 1 Incorporated, or their management. The Carl Nelson Show.
You're rocking with the most ultimate. All right, let's go.
Good morning again, family. Minute after the top of the hour. Our next guest, Dr. James Taylor, is on deck. We'll get to him momentarily. So, JB, if you can show up on the answers, I'd appreciate it. Because Jimmy's got a question for you, and got this tweeter wanted to know, should he or she consider a CD, a high-yield savings account, or a money market account for next year?
Depends on her liquidity, but definitely contact me. Join Afro Economics. But the CD will get you caught up. And then the money market is if you need it, get it. So liquidity is the question right there. That would be, it depends.
800-450-7876. Jimmy's in Houston. We've got a question for you real quick. Jimmy, you're on with JB Bryan.
Yes, how you doing, Brian? How you doing, Carl? Long time. I'm reading this book called The Potentialist, and it's talking about the future in the next 30 years. And with older folks being in the workforce longer, because all the hard physical work that we're doing now is not going to be the case because of the technology, the brain to computer. We'll be interacting with that. And with the older folks having more wisdom, and they're going to need us in the workplace, working with the youngsters. How is that going to impact the, like what you're doing now, and how the retirement and Social Security, all that going to take place?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Jimmy, all the time. I always agree with Jimmy. Jimmy is always right, and that is correct. But
Jimmy, if I recall, has got the perfect
perfect credit.
What is it?
Perfect credit.
Credit card. Yeah, he's got a perfect credit.
Credit.
Perfect
mind.
The credit scores. Jimmy's got a perfect credit score, folks.
Perfect health.
Thank you, Jimmy.
He's perfect, man. And definitely, I look forward to us staying healthy and working longer, because that would definitely reduce our financial pressure. And so it's a great point.
Is that a goal, though, before I let you go? Because Jimmy's the only person I know who's got absolute perfect credit.
Exactly.
Whatever the top score, he's got it. Is that a goal, or should you, if you've got in the 700s, is that cool, or do you have to get that perfect credit like Jimmy?
I don't think that we should really aspire for perfect credit. I think we should aspire for credit confidence. So in my book, I write about credit confidence, meaning understanding the system, because the perfect credit in the system requires that you have a lot of debt, and for nowadays, a long period of time. So Jimmy has grown, and he paid off a lot of debt over a long period of time, and he made it. So, but everybody doesn't have to do it. Great credit, don't have to get perfect, just great credit, strong credit, pay your bills, be on time. Credit confidence is our goal. Especially entrepreneurs. A lot of us, we don't want a lot of debt. So they don't have to call me perfect, but they got to call me good. That's right.
All right.
That's right.
JB, before we let you go, how can folks reach you?
1-844-JBBRYAN. Google JB Bryan, Afro Economics. I'm right here for you. Definitely
and
no
you can
excuses.
Be on TV this morning, right?
JB at jbbryan.com. Yes.
No, are you going to be on TV this morning?
Oh, I know. It's Monday the 19th. on thank you for remembering WTVR CBS 6. I told you the 12th, but it's actually the 19th. So I will be on Virginia this morning. So I definitely thank you. You're so good. Carl, you're the best. You are the best.
I gotta let folks know that you are good.
Thank
you know
you.
what you're doing.
Thank you.
And I thank you for, at the end of the year for sharing all this information for folks who want to get their finances together to start the new year. Thank you, JB.
Thank you. Thank God for you. Stay strong. Bye.
All righty. JB Bryan, folks, our financial expert. Now let's turn to our Black politics expert, Dr. James Taylor. Dr. Taylor, welcome back to the program.